got some changes we're gonna experiment a little bit with. Has to do with the tax sheets, how orders are set up. And beginning this meeting, like all good meetings begin, I wanna talk about what Friedrich Hegel, the 18th century German philosopher, said. All existing systems are essentially evolutionary end products of all the systems that came before them. Now, by the time most of you guys started here, we're so used to getting the tax sheet printed out, the starting deeds, and, you know, all of that crap pre-made, all right? But you have to understand the genesis of that. That's now causing a problem, and it has caused a claim, and may cause some more. So we have to change that, mix it up a little bit. We originally, the treasurer pages were one of the first that went onto the computer, internet. We still had people going to counties every day. You'd hit 4 counties in a day in a car. And it would be nice if you had a starting deed, so you didn't have to go to the assessor's books and look it up. If we would give them an idea what the tax parcel number is. So we did a little bit of pre-work before they'd hit the road at 6 in the morning. So that's where it came from. And now people have come in and you're looking at it, and there's a lot of searchers that are relying on the fact that the order desk, which takes a lot of time, has already done heavy lifting on the preliminary work, and that's not necessarily true. All we're trying to do is give you an idea of the tax parcel number, and you guys are sitting back. Okay. I go on the football theory that, you know, somebody laterally passes you the football, you got the file, that's your ball, run to the goalpost with it. You do the taxes, you do everything. You're the one that knows the tax parcel numbers, where they came, there's an exception out, all that kind of crap, because you've done the search. So we're now gonna, number one, not run the tax parcels in any great depth at the front desk. The searchers will be responsible to do it. There's another reason. Sometimes the treasurer's pages have information that's color-coded that does not get translated into a print-off. You know, so we miss it.
That goes for abstracts too.
And that goes for abstracts too, especially some of this crap where they got 18 meets and bounds and people don't have the county. You aren't sure which one the guy's complicatedly getting, so abstracts.
You almost have to run the
Right.
property
Yeah.
to figure them out.
Like I
Exactly,
said,
so it doesn't make
yeah.
much sense there.
Yeah.
And you'll notice when Bill sets up orders, he doesn't print out tax sheets, because he comes from the pre-days. You know, so we've grown to rely on it, and that has hurt us. This is a claim we have, which is $5,000, okay? It's particularly annoying for a number of reasons, but if you'll see the line that says tax sale, right there, nothing's on the line. You guys can pass it around. You haven't seen it, right? Have you seen it? Here, hand it to Bill.
Okay.
There's a line there that says tax sale with nothing beyond it, but then it says paid. Okay? So,
Paid subsequent?
no, I think it was paid through the tax sale.
Okay.
But the point is, when I see a line tax sale, I am led to believe there'd be a date there or something that propagated that field. Nothing propagated that field. You know, so bottom line is, and this is the annoying part, is Taylor kind of picked it up on the gap. And we called and there is a tax sale. So we got a hold of Jamie. The thing was closing that day, okay? And we have tried to stop things while they're closing. In fact, days before they close. And they will literally say, well, hey, the machinery's already in place, that'll be taken care of by the gap, and they don't do anything, okay? So this is particularly annoying for the reason that, you know, I know of 3 instances where they could have stopped and they didn't. Now, you know, I can give you all the legal reasons why that position of theirs is untenable and wrong, not to mention the legal concepts of last clear chance and avoidable consequences. When I'm driving down the road, I'm the last guy that could put the brakes on to prevent the accident. I didn't. You know, they have a complicity in this, you know, liability that would literally throw them out. But for a small amount like that, we're not gonna, you know, Jay Burkamp and I aren't gonna ruin a good client. These people don't understand. It would be way beyond them once you get legal counsel involved, and you're just gonna hurt feelings. You know, so we're kind of working this one out. I mean, it may ultimately cost about $5,000. You know, so that's an example, and that's the one that kinda hit where I'm sitting there like, don't be afraid to call these guys. Even when you call them, they say they don't know if there's a tax sale. You know, so what are you supposed to do?
Different answers.
Yeah, you told me Polk County's
Yeah,
particularly bad.
Jen and I both called the same day within an hour and both got a different answer.
Yeah.
So,
So, I mean, we're the intermediary, the liability intermediary. All of these public servants do all this crap, but I get sued. You know, so, you know, that's the spot we're in. So we gotta be particularly careful with that. And, you know, so we have this system, I just wanna talk about the system where we're doing the tax sheets and you guys get them and you got an idea what deed to come from, but that's not, you know, you guys should be doing it on your own. But then we've inflated in the order count up by 40%, the system's strained. How long does it take to set up an order in the system we had last week? You know, you got 40 orders, gonna take 10 to 15 minutes an order, on average, some take a half hour. How many man hours is that? We've got good searchers that are locked at the front desk, setting up orders 10 man hours a day. And it's like, you know, we're beyond that, and everybody can pretty much, this even went back to the time when, and you'll remember, Brad, not everybody here knew how to get on the internet. Okay? You know, so that's a system that needs to change. I want everybody to be on top of it. If it's causing problems, do a feedback. Like I say, a system is an evolution. You know, so we got a better way to do it. Tell me, if we're doing something wrong with our system, tell me. You know, I know where these things came from. Now, the piece of paper I handed out to you, I could use as a defense. In court, I can say, or, you know, with underwriters and depositions, you know, you've been in depositions. I could say, hey, look at this. This is what the search was on that day. You know, and you cannot impeach a public record. I can rely on it. Okay? So, it's important we print everything out. You gotta, we're gonna talk about mechanics liens here in a minute, but you got a mechanics lien search, it says nothing, print it out. You've got, you know, a search on the property, print it out. You gotta print out the land record search and check mark everything you're doing. You know, why? Because we saw it and, you know, it's a proof, it's an evidentiary proof for later. So the current system of setting up orders is, we assign it a number, enter it in Paradox, and all we've done is assign a number to this file. You guys get it, you're gonna do the tax search, figure out what the parcel is. If you're confused, ask for help. You know, it takes a village to figure out taxes anymore. Okay, so don't be shy. When you're all done with your search, you're the one that scans the whole thing in, and this time you're gonna scan the order number, or, you know, the order sheet, along with the tax search, along with your other searches. So that will just be scanned at that point. Okay, so I just kinda wanted to give the genesis of where that came from. I got a thing here, I have my map that I use for where Iowa and Illinois counties are. Okay, see this map? See the color codes? This map was, I used to print these out daily. This goes from Wednesday, January 22nd, 2003. All of these people are different order processors, the different color codes of the counties they were going to that day. Okay? And like the yellow one, that was Shelley. This one out here in Illinois, that was done by Becky because she was going to Illinois State at the time. So she actually took a trip there. This is where, the minute we found out we could start doing tax sheets, we were saving some time. So that's like where it comes from. You know, and that's gonna change. So, we went to this seminar, had a very scary presentation by a guy that didn't know how scary he was because he didn't know what he's doing. He's just like a lawyer who litigates mechanics claims. He doesn't understand notice, you know. And I'll let you take it off what he said. We've got several problems with mechanics liens.
He was talking about litigating the mechanics liens, not how we find them, and that is what he was supposed to inform us of.
It was like a legal education seminar.
There's different ways, different wild cards to find, if under the legal, under the parcel, under the name, under the contractor name, under a subcontractor name, and he
his perspective is, as a litigator, I understand these guys, you know, they look at the statute, says you're supposed to file with the Secretary of State. I got a file stamp copy where I file with the Secretary of State, I got standing to bring suit. Okay. What he doesn't understand is, although he sues somebody that then sues us, because I didn't tell him about the mechanics lien filing, is I'm entitled to notice as a bona fide purchaser for value. And unless I get notice, I don't have liability. He totally skipped that. So, what's his notice? He was bragging about how he filed a mechanics lien on 35 different lots of, you know, wonderful subdivision. And,
They all had one mechanics lien number.
but he only had one mechanics lien number. Now, when it came time to partially release, it wouldn't let him do it. He can only release the whole thing in their system. You know, now, my mind's spinning like, how does that come up on a search? Okay, the reason he did this is he didn't wanna pay the fee for 23 lots. Okay, but did it afford me notice? You know, so you've got these things that are kinda like in the weeds on that, but the bottom line is, after the seminar, you know, Bonnie went up to him and said, how'd you post that? I don't know.
I asked him, how do you post it? Up for mechanics lien, so we know how to find it. And he said, depends what information I have. And he said, you can always find it on the mechanics lien number. And I said, but we need to find it.
We don't have the number.
And Liz, I could tell the lights were going off in his head when I went out to get his coffee, and then the lady, Heather, called me, and he was talking with her, and he called me over to say that I'd asked him questions of how we are to search and find mechanics liens. And he said, I believe that's what I was supposed to be instructing him on. And everybody had this look like they hit a deer.
You know, so, the point is, in that particular case, he's filed it on 23 lots. He doesn't know if he filed it under the legal. He's probably not, cause it was like too big. Did you file it under the name? Might have been the contractor's name, you know, it's like, he didn't know.
And he didn't know
But
about
boy, he'll go into
Walmart's.
court with a little file stamp copy that he filed it like the statute says. You know, so that's a problem. In fact, in that case, you know how he got it partially released? I told you this guy's a litigator. He went to the district court, had the district court enter an order saying lot 12 is released regarding that mechanics lien, and then he filed that as an additional document in the mechanics lien, so you couldn't even pick it up as a release, because it's not a labeled release.
Can I talk to the searching for a minute?
Yeah, well, I
Okay.
wanted to get to you with the messed up ones you got.
Okay, but here's one thing. I've done some checking and seen a printout from the mechanics lien where they've got the whole address. 123 South Main Street, Davenport, 52804. Don't do that. Put wildcard Maine, Davenport, no zip code. Get all the hits and go through them. Because if you put all of that in, all right, I've had, where I knew there was a mechanics lien, because I was doing the gap, and the difference between it coming up under the address or not was a period after the N for north. So,
So get your wild card
right.
before the end.
And when you're doing
After
like a
the
legal description, if it's a subdivision, just put wild card, and if it's a Blooming Heights subdivision, just put wild card Blooming. Heights can be abbreviated 3 different ways, you know?
Will the asterisk work on the mechanics lien for a wildcard as well as the percent sign?
I don't know, I haven't
Because
tried that.
when I asked him what wildcard,
He didn't know a wild
didn't
card.
know.
Yeah,
On the
I
land
know
records.
percent sign works because I
Yeah.
had somebody at the Secretary of State say, when I called them for help, tell me use the percent sign.
Yesterday in that, webinar that we did, the guy.
Yeah, that's
all the
why.
time.
That was land records,
Yes.
different
Yeah,
sign.
but I was just curious since he didn't know anything about wildcards.
And keep in mind, these are the guys that wind up suing people, and I'm up against, like, it didn't come up in a search, I don't care, I got a file stamp copy, like, you got some lottery, buddy, you know, but anyway, then there's the other mechanics lien problem.
Ran a search.
And
I
they-
always
they
start
did
with the
acknowledge this, that they've
owner's
heard
name
this.
with a wild card in front of it and the city, then the address, then I go to the legal. Guess what? Found one under the legal. Wild card, first name of the subdivision. So then went back and reran the owner's name. Guess what came up? And I have the printouts to prove it. It was not there. I have the printout of the address. it didn't come up, now it comes up. So once I hit that mechanics lien and clicked on it to look at it, it somehow back related it to all the links that it should have hit in the
It
first place.
propagated pathways for
That's scary.
search results that weren't there coming from that way. It built a memory, it's called an intelligent system.
Yeah, but
That
this
makes
is why
you
you gotta
stupid.
print each page as you go.
You might, I don't deal with that a whole lot, but I've heard something like that happen on other searchable sites that I have used and whatnot, and it may very well be germane to your computer and its search at that time. When you
Yeah.
then clicked on that link, it linked your computer only. Somebody else could go somewhere else.
That
and
would
do-
be one theory, except I jumped over to another computer and redid it, and it did the same thing again.
Okay.
And then there's the other possibility.
I'm just throwing it in now.
Yes,
That is just
there's
me.
there's a thunderstorm down in Florida. Yeah, I linked my phone to weather alerts when my mom's condo was in the path of a hurricane a couple years ago. I can't get it. So every time there's a marine warning, I get it.
What was the other possibility?
I've run into situations where your computer was pulling up a memory of a search, not a new one,
Yeah,
you know. But I mean, title guarantee, or the people around that circle their word have heard there's an acknowledgement that there are inconsistent search results. Okay, from the general feel out there. So, double, triple stressing, it's important you do a printout. Okay? Mechanics liens, I mean, taxes used to be like pocket change, now they're like thousands and thousands of dollars. Mechanics liens are bone crushing, okay? They're really heavy into litigation and, they're big amounts.
on ISIS, it's also important because we actually had a claim where when the initial search was done, there were no aliases. At some point in the future, the clerk connected our person's name with an alias. So when they went to do the title work for the
Now the
foreclosure,
aliases are
all,
propagating.
his name came up against everything that the alias name had. We didn't have printouts of our search. We just had hand notes of the initial search for the title work, and then I did the closing search to do the policy, and neither of us had printed out our results pages and marked them up. We just made hand notes. So always print out your result pages and mark them up.
Then I wanted to talk about proofreading. Okay. He's a proofreading god here. You're the one that finds all the mistakes when it's too late. See, when you do the day of closings, you still got a chance you can catch it. By the time he gets it, it's closed, gone, the money's gone. I mean, the loan officers have already spent their commissions. It's a dead stick. So, you know, he sees them when it's like too late, and then I'm doing affidavits or some crap, but working on problems with Jamie. You get into proofreading, and it's got a long and varied history, and it gets personal and all this kind of crap, but nobody proofreads my stuff. I mean, I go back to the time when we used to make Xeroxes of the legal description and tape them on a piece of paper, and then I'd hand write out objections or whatever, and then you'd give it to the typing pool, and they'd type it. And they'd proofread it, then it would come back to me. When I was in college, I would hire co-eds to type my papers for me, because I used these. And back in those days, you know, guys like me don't type, you know, those are typists do that, those are chicks, you know, but computers came on, so now I'm good to about like these maybe, but I do it myself, okay? And I'm pretty accurate. I don't go fast, and I don't think in terms of typing, so I don't make mistakes. I think in terms of where's the cue, you know? So, you know, I've seen typists, they just, you know, go like this. We had people in our typing pool, Annie, who worked here just recently, you know, say, what did you put that in there for? I don't read what I'm typing. Right, and because they taught typists not to read. If you were caught reading, you'd say, hey, I think this is wrong, are you reading that? Then they'd smack them.
No,
You
they
know.
taught you, you knew where the keys were, and you could feel it, you typed it, and you stopped right then.
But
And fixed it.
he's talking about questioning the content.
Right, so I'm a content typist. Bill, who proofreads your stuff?
I kinda do.
I proofread mine, you proofread yours. You know, we had a lot of stuff going on here, had a lot of errors. What I wanna stress is the most important proofreader is who? Yourself. Okay, you're the one familiar with it, you're the one going, hey, wait a minute, I thought there was another judgment, I only see two, that kinda last look over, so you're the best proofreader. I've been kinda getting reports from Brad like, yeah, so who's really bad, man? We won't knock out the naughty list right now.
I'm not throwing out names.
But he kinda said it's been getting a little better, so.
I can tell you that
The
someone
ones
who
that-
doesn't work here anymore, when we started doing the, everything has to be proofed by one other person before it goes out, before we went to the two people have to prove it, I said, took a really stupid mistake to them and said, did you not read over your work before you gave it to me to proof? Well, no, that's why we have proofers.
And that's a bad.
No, right, like the one Ray's talking about, the legal description was completely wrong. How does that happen?
It happens with the tax sheet.
No, this was right, you have your deed, and your, everything, it's not even close to what your deed says. It
Oh,
got turned
that's a
in.
cloning problem.
It
I
got
think
turned in. No, they used the previous
Yeah.
form,
Yeah.
but it got.
Always start with a blank form, please!
Right, but it also got checked twice. It didn't get
You
checked
gotta
twice,
read
there's
it,
no chance it
right?
got checked twice.
Well,
Burger and Buckmeyer.
It could-
No,
it
but I
could-
knew
maybe
that one,
they
he
check
even ran the
twice.
wrong tax sheet, right?
No, that's a different one.
No, that was a different one.
See, there's more than one.
This one had the wrong legal,
Well,
But
no,
the
even
taxes
like-
were
phone
right.
number, but yes, we
Okay.
do own service.
So,
Wouldn't you pick it up there?
well, my question is, who checked it? How did you check it off this piece of paper when it's not even close to what's on there?
Statewide, yes.
Yeah,
That's the thing, it's like,
but even like with things like the office opinions, like when like we type them up, like we're checking our work and we're giving it to Bill. So like, we're putting our best work out there, and like when I type up an office opinion for you, I'm giving you what I have error free to you
Yeah,
to
but I
type
type
up.
my own
and
stuff
to-
too.
Yeah,
well,
but a lot of it's
that's a
copy and
good
paste.
question.
Brad mentioned
Um,
is that you know your
hang
file,
on
you
just a
just
sec.
did it, and when you double check it.
Is
you
the
see
email
your notes,
searches
you're
and
more
record
familiar
title still
with it,
live, or
you're gonna
should
catch
I
it.
direct them to FDIC?
Go down back and recheck it yourself more than somebody else, cause they're gonna think it's already
Still with
correct.
me?
And you're just
Okay,
proving it,
no, you should use FDesk, that's short for
I think
front,
that's where it points it anyway, isn't it, Bill?
at
And then we're an
recordtitles.com.
internet search off our website,
Yeah, should.
it should.
Sure.
But we'll just tell them to email it to FDOS. How come we don't have robots on there anymore?
No. Yeah,
Robots.
it's active, but there's nobody there to receive packages, so if you're gonna ship.
Orders
the,
entered on our website?
abstract to us, I need you to send it to,
I'm not sure.
211 18th Street.
Oh, we used to have
Rock Island,
150
Illinois.
hits a day.
Oh, cause I think we changed,
Separato?
I think it's the more
third
secure.
floor.
That was, that's, coming up December first.
I think
Okay,
we
anybody
did
else got
that.
any points?
And it's 61201.
Print out results of everything. You guys are in charge of scanning.
No, I'm gonna give you, well, this is the law firm, and I can't transfer you to anybody from this phone, so I'm gonna give you the, office phone number,
Did you want me to
for
stop this
where you
video
ship
now?
the abstract.
Okay, I mean, you didn't say.
309.
Well, you sign out